Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. It's a beautiful day in Blackstone, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. I hope as I keep saying that, a lot of my talk, I think I'm really just pulling that one, you are the center of the world. I say that over and over again because it doesn't sound real. What do you mean I'm the center of the world? Of course not. There's other centers here. All the stuff around here. I'm just a thing in the world. This is the kingdom of the world, you see. But where is the kingdom of God? So the title of this talk is Trump our Henry the VIII? Now, I've been watching this wonderful little documentary, or History of the Monarchy, English monarchy on Acorn, which I recommend. And so last night I was watching the Henry the VIII. And Henry the VIII, basically united church and state. Now England was the state, but up until Henry the VIII, the church was Catholicism and its head was the Pope. And Catholicism spread, was the dome of religious ordination or religious power for all the nation states of Europe. In other words, all the kings were like Constantine. Now Constantine was the Roman emperor who said Christianity is the state religion now and the emperor is ordained by God. So Constantine was ordained by the Pope. He was responsible to God. Now the English kings in the Middle Ages, French, all the national kings, were responsible to God through the Pope, the Catholic Church, you see. And Henry had a problem because the church would not allow him to divorce his barren wife and marry his mistress, Anne Boleyn. So he cut the cord to the Pope and put the crown of the religion on his head. So he united religion and state in one unit, or England, you see. Boom, the two became one. So the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of earth were one in Henry VIII. And so this was a change in English history, and I was reflecting on that, So what we're involved in right now seems to be the same problem that English history has gone through. What is the power of the king? And to whom is the king responsible? Now, in the English system, as it evolved, the king is responsible to the people through Parliament, as well as God, but Parliament makes political decisions. In our society, our culture, our constitution, the president, kind of like a people's king, you see, is responsible to the Constitution, and the people and the Congress checks his power. In the same way that Parliament checks the power of the king in England, you see. So there's a check there to absolute power. But Henry VIII wanted absolute power to do what he wanted to do, which is what all kings want to do. They don't like other people, other institutions, clerks and lawyers or whatever, telling him what to do. I'm king, you see. I want to do what what's the point? What's the point of being king if you can't do what you want to do, you see? So we've got what's going on right now is very interesting historically for me, mythologically, because I see things mythologically, having studied Joseph Campbell all my life, and I see things through a Zen point of view, a Buddhist point of view, having studied Eastern traditions all my life, you see, and Christian traditions, because I used to want to be a minister. So I kind of have a lot of different hats or lenses in which to view our historical situation. Not to mention that I'll be 83 next month, so I have the vision of age, So I was an adult in the 50s, in the 60s. So I witnessed the different decades. My age now. I'm still fortunate enough to be articulate and have my faculties about me so that I can articulate this wider angle, this wider view, you see, freshly, you see. And that's Zen, being able to see the world fresh. That's why I did a whole talk on fresh depth, the kitty litter. So the question here, the idea here is how is Trump like Henry the VIII, who united church and state? Well, we have to understand Christianity as the modern form or sect of Christianity, evangelicalism, which is basically fundamentalism, which has always been in the fringe, which has always been the outlier. But in the modern age, since the 60s, fundamentalism through televangelism and TV, and Nixon, who invited the fundamentalists into the Republican Party when they left the Democratic South, the Democratic Party that went civil rights, their rights were not being valued, so they came into the Republican Party, and Nixon said, "Yeah, we'll give you your rights. We'll respect your religious values, family values." So this whole idea of putting God back into society, this has been a constant theme. We're off track. We've lost track with God. Secular society, liberal society, is off track. We're going over a cliff. We're out of alignment with God. We're out of alignment with the universe. And this is there's valid concern here, since that the whole global warming thing is we're out of alignment with the earth. So something is amiss here. Something in the secular material world, something is missing. The compass is skewed, you see. So the religious mind, knowing that something is skewed, we're going in circles, we're not, wants to get the compass aligned back with God. So how do you do that? Well, you put God back into society, obviously. So you make the kingdom of earth the kingdom of God. You put the two kingdoms together, and they get aligned. See, if you're out of alignment, here's one kingdom, secular materialism, liberalism, the modern world. It's not like it's some fluke. I mean, it's the culture we live in that makes air conditioning and cars and washing machines and all of that, you see, that we love, our comforts, our health, all of that, you see, is the modern secular material world, the scientific world, you see, logic, reason, science, scientific method, all of that, there's that, But it's not, there's no value in it. What's the meaning of it, you see? So here's the kingdom of God, absolute, eternal, moral, ethical. How do you put these two together? If you kind of like, if you get them together, if you get in alignment with God, boom, everything works. Everything works, you see. Now, we experience that personally all the time. We call it being in the zone. If you're an athlete and you train to be a master, you become, and this is why we love to watch master athletes, they get in the zone where they can't do anything wrong. Basketball team, they just throw the ball, it goes in. Boom, boom, threes, we go crazy. They're in alignment with something. What? Well, the religious would say, oh, he's in alignment with God. The secular would say, oh, he's in alignment with being. You're in alignment with the universe. And it's kind of like the Seinfeld sketch. When George was always saying, when the lights go green or he gets a parking place, oh, hallelujah! Finally I'm in alignment with the universe. Or when you're trying to do something and suddenly the lights are green and everything is easy. The doors are all open. You can't understand it. Oh, You're in the zone. What is that? But it's temporary. You can't hold it, you see. You can't hold it, you know. Can't hold the alignment. It goes back. People that have spiritual experiences. Oh, I'm in the zone. And then you're back in the world again and everything is out of joint. You know, now you got to do meditation and yoga and vegetarianism and all that stuff to get back in alignment, you see. Anyway, I'm rambling here, I hope not. So Trump kind of like comes like a Henry the VIII in the sense that he has his personal needs is to be number one, the unique one, Trump on the tower, the brand, Trump, 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 the great one, you see. I am the one. I am the one. And to be the one, you have to be outside the law. This is an American myth. In other words, in order to be unique, the Western hero, you can't conform to convention and just be like everybody else. You got to sin a little bit. You got to break the law a little bit. You got to show that you are in the zone, you see, and not going by training, not obedient to rules and regulations, and being a yes man, being politically correct, you see. You're unique. You don't shave. You wear your shirt tail out. You have a tattoo. You wear your hair long. You wear it short. You have, all this fashion is all about being unique, you see. You're the Mac man, not the PC man, you see. So this runs in our society, being the rebel, being not conventional. We all want that, you see. But we do it in groups. Nobody dares to do it alone, because then you don't have to look different. But anyway, so Trump wants to be unique. You see, he wants to be the one. And the evangelicals, like the Israelites, like the Hebrews in Egypt, they want somebody to lead them to the promised land. They want somebody to restore the kingdom. Nothing wrong with that. They want the kingdom to be restored so we can get in alignment with God and be fruitful and multiply, be happy, you see. So they want this kingdom to come down like a levitation, to come down over the secular world that has gone awry, you see. Just like the Catholic Church would impose the kingdom over these unruly kings and nation states and tribes, you see. The Catholic Church of the Middle Ages imposed order, divine order, learning, education, Latin, one language, one God. Not many local pagan gods. One God, this dome came down over all of this cacophony of tribal wars and warrior kings and all that, imposed this order, you see. So that mythology, that kind of like this desire for God's kingdom to come down and restore mankind to the lost paradise. This is a theme of humanity. I've lost paradise. Where is it? In the past? Restore it? Or is it in the future? Progressive, I got to get to it. Do I restore it from the past, or do I get to it and bring it to me from the future, you see? But right now, this is hell. Even when I die, I go to a better place. This place is hell, you see. So heaven, the kingdom, is either in the past or the future, but right now we're in hell. So in a sense, then, Henry the VIII, for the evangelical, for the religious mind, is someone who is restoring these two kingdoms and bringing them together. So in that sense, the irony of it is, Trump demonstrates his religious kingship by breaking the laws of the secular, sinful world. Humanism breaks these laws. And by Trump affirms his oneness by breaking the laws of convention and the Constitution. So both of them get their cake and eat it too. And this is kind of like the Constitution now is trying to, the impeachment is trying to break this apart, you see, the man from the God. the president from the kingdom. The judge just came out in the suit and said, the president is not a king. The president is not infallible. The president is not omnipotent. The president is not absolute. The president is obedient to the Constitution. Whereas the evangelicals say the president is obedient to the Bible. And the Bible is over the secular world, you see, in their mind. I'm not trying to find fault here. I'm trying to understand what's going on. Trying to understand. So, anyway, so that's why I said Henry the VIII is our, or Trump is our Henry the VIII. He is taking the church and the state in one and putting it into one crown, you see. And that goes against the very structure of our democratic republic, you see. It's like restoring the monarch mythologically. Now, everybody knows that we can't have a church and state, because if you have a church state, you end up with something like Iran, clerics running everything. And politicians then have to go ask the church, is this okay? They'll go ask the Pope. Is this okay that I remarry? No, you can't do it. What? You see, so this Henry VIII, you see, broke the allegiance to the church, but created a new church state. And so Trump, in a way, has come along and inadvertently, just because the conditions asked for it, the conditions cried out for Trump. The conditions of the religious right crying out for some way to restore America and bring the kingdom of God back to bring heaven down to earth and bring these two kingdoms back together. So you have to understand this mythologically through symbols and not through logic, because logically, oh, Trump is not doing that. Of course not. So it does not, logically, empirically, of course not, that's that. But mythologically, unconsciously, it is. So anyway, thanks for dropping in and putting up with another Zen Fit.